So, Tony, if I may ask, so what do you think we need to do here in Nigeria? I mean, even your advice, even from my office, what do you
I
think
think,
we need to do?
yeah, I think it's simple. Under AfCFTA, you cannot really technically you cannot control what's coming in because you've opened your market. Okay,
True,
you cannot, because the whole point of AfCFTA is lower barriers to entry into your market. So
true, true.
the real game changer is to also see that the African market is bigger than Nigerian market. Even though Nigerian market is big, it's almost like tit for tat. So it's organizing your Kano indigenes, and helping them to penetrate other countries. That's the biggest thing. And one way to do it, because when you look at the entire continent, it becomes massive. Just pick your top 3 countries, top 3 strategic countries mapped to your top 3 strategic products coming out of Kano, just like you're doing for Lagos. But you have to, um, it has to be strategic, like it has to be, you have to map out how you want to grow it over, say, 5 years, to say every year we're going to increase our export of XYZ to this country 20% every year. By year 2025, 2026, we want to have grown it to this level of investment, right? And how do we do it? We want distributorship for this leather. We want to open branches of Kano businesses. We want so you have to list those things out. And when you do build that strategy, then it becomes executable, right?
Mm.
So you cannot control who is going to come into Kano.
No,
But you can, because AfCFTA, you've basically said tit for tat.
yes,
That
yes,
we are giving up our local market in exchange for the bigger African market, right? Because the African market is quite sizable, it's bigger than Nigeria. So what then happens is, which country are you going to help Kano penetrate, and what products are you going to push into those markets aggressively? That,
mm,
because when you can do that, guess what's going to happen? Employment will go up in your city, again, grassroots, right? Because if businesses in Kano can get more business externally, then definitely employment goes up. That's the secret for the North. That's really the secret for the North. You need employment to go up. All the youth, you need job creation. And the way you get that engine going is industrialization. And you cannot industrialize if there's no demand for what it is you're producing. So
true,
what
true.
AfCFTA has done is to artificially create demand.
Mm.
That's really what people are not seeing, is that it has artificially, because if I come to you now and I say I want to buy 1 million pieces of whatever it is you produce, what you're going to do is you take that demand, you take it to the bank, you borrow against it, and you go to the factory line and you start producing, because there are legal things you've signed that says when you produce this, you get paid. That's what China is doing. They buy into the future. People are buying future farmlands, like you talked about Benue, right? It's what, as a buyer, I'm not looking for what Benue can give me today. I'm looking for what I can lock in with Benue the next 2-3 years,
True,
right? Right, and then you can work on global gap. You can work on all these international agricultural things to make sure that it's not just that you're producing mango, but it's that the farm practices, the fertilizer and all the pesticide, whatever it is you're spraying on that farmland, actually meets the demands of the international market. And that's why people can buy from you. So all of these things are dynamic. And I'm telling people, I'm seeing a lot of people talk online, but I'm telling you, people need to talk less and start doing strategy discussion. And I tell people, well, if
I
you don't
agree.
do it, if you don't do it,
I
just
agree.
wait till December. You're going to call me back. And you'll be like, they've bought the land. Oko Bababi,
Exactly.
they don't,
Exactly.
you
It's
know,
so
it's over. And Ghana has this. I'm so much enjoying this. You can tell Ghana has this rule, which is one of the brilliant rules. No matter who buys a land in Ghana, a foreigner, after 99 years, it goes back to the people. I don't know if Nigeria has that.
Oh,
Yes, Ghana has that rule, which is part of protecting the
uh,
property of the land. Fantastic. And I try to tell people that when it comes to economic development is not just a federal conversation. It's actually land, it's a grassroots initiative, right?
yeah,
Because a
yes,
lot of times people are always looking at the federal government, they're always saying Abuja, Abuja, Abuja. But at the end of the day, even AfCFTA implementation, economic development is a city by city, state by state
I
conversation,
agree. I agree with
right?
you.
So a lot
I
of
totally
times,
agree with you.
yeah, the conversation you and I are having now to a lot of people is very strange, right? Because on the international stage or in the regional states on the continent, when you talk about Nigeria, they just talk about Nigeria as a whole, right? People don't spend time to say, okay, what's even the makeup of Nigeria, right? Let's open the hood
Exactly.
and let's start understanding the mechanisms. When we say, okay, trade with Nigeria, you're actually going to be trading with people in certain states, sitting at certain desks, whether
Exactly.
Lagos, when we talk about KB Rice, when you think about Kano. So even this conversation, I hope it's not the last. I hope even Investment Promotion Agency, NIPC, I know they were at my event. I hope they
Yes,
see this, and I know on the honorable from NIPC as well. These are part of the conversations we need to have. Is that Nigeria is massive, right?
yes,
And the
yes,
work that
Tony.
you all are doing
Yes,
is
yes,
lost
Tony, I agree
under
with you.
the umbrella of Nigeria.
Yes, I
It's lost.
totally agree with you. For
On,
instance,
yeah.
Kano State has 44 local governments.
Mm,
One of the criteria we're using for the Innovate Kano is to select young people from each of these local governments. Now, by the time these young people come to Lagos from each local government, which is actually spread out, like in Kano, um, the drive from one local government to the other is about 4 hours.
wow.
You know, that's the landmass. You know, so we're picking 40 from the 44 local governments. Now, by the time these young people go back to their individual local government, they will be impacting it from the grassroots
Grassroots.
per local government.
Mm,
Do you understand? Now, this program I'm talking about is a 3-year program, and in a year, we would have coming twice in a year, because we'll have a break in between. Now, you can imagine 3 years, 130 times 2 a year. What are we saying? We've impacted the grassroots from the
exactly.
grassroots.
Right.
Now, with that knowledge, with that impact, if these people decide that, okay, I want to take my business to Dubai, I want to take my business outside Nigeria, I want to take my business outside to Africa or somewhere in Europe, they are getting investors and interested persons, partners coming to their local governments, the grassroots. Do you understand? The
Yep.
grassroots. Because when these people come to Kano, they won't just come to Kano, boom, as a state. They will
Exactly.
go to that local government where it's located.
Right.
So
Which is,
yes, the
yeah.
African free trade stuff actually should impact, I would say, from the grassroots up,
Right. Right.
up.
Right. And even we need to also learn from places like Dubai within the UAE, is that investments would also land at the grassroots, because even here in the US, it's the same. That's why you have breakout cities. When you say breakout city, you have Chicago, where I am. What you think about California, you think about, like, each city, they have public sector, private sector engagement to attract investment at the city level. I think that's one of the things a lot of African countries are missing, where even AfCFTA, for example, is sitting at the federal level in Abuja, right?
Mm.
what I tell people is, if it remains in Abuja, all you're doing is you're moving paper. You're having
True,
committee
true,
meetings, you're moving
true.
paper, you're talking agenda, you're just talking in air-conditioned rooms, right? If you actually want to implement, if you want to actualize AfCFTA, you need to take that agenda and take it back to the grassroots. Because youth empowerment, women empowerment, economic development is not just a story for Abuja. It's a story for Kano. It's a story for KB. It's a story for Lagos. And that's one of the things at the continental level we're also shedding light on. Like the federal, they are holding on to AfCFT as their personal agenda. And I'm telling you, it's going nowhere. All you're
Yeah,
going to be doing is you'll be looking at numbers. You'll be like, oh, AfCFTA, we signed the agreement, check. Oh, we did media support, check. And you're looking good on paper, but nobody's impacted across the nation.
correct, correct, correct. Uh,
So,
I, 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 I totally agree with you. And one thing I believe is my office creates. You see, my office is already set up for state partnerships. Now, yes, it's for two states, but I can tell you, Tony, for a fact that I've had representatives of other states speak to me and say, "Wow, what happens when you're done? Would you want to go to another state? Would you want to move?" I said, "See, it's a welcome development, but I think if state governors and the federal government has this same ideology to impact the CFTA from the grassroots upwards,
yes,
we would actually be trading with the right people.
right.
The right people will be transferring knowledge. The right people will be trading. I mean, you have a place like Benue State, for instance. I was speaking to a friend recently, and he was telling me that, please, you're in Lagos. I know you work with the Kano State government, but can you help us get investors like Chivita to Benue State? I was like, what do you
Yes,
need Chivita for? I
they
was
have
like,
food baskets.
it's it's wasting.
Yes, they have the land is fertile. They have fruits. It's the food capital of,
They
food.
don't have a single juice factory. They don't have a single juice factory.
That's insane.
They
When
have
I say, oh my
lovely
goodness.
mangoes. Oh God. Oh my gosh. I apologize. Sorry.
No, no,
You know,
even me, I'm carried away. Even I have to apologize, because here's the bottom line. I think the opportunities abound. Okay. The opportunities abound. You and I have already talked about the lack of awareness about the opportunities, even within the diaspora. Because again, you're not going to hear this on main headline. You're not going to see this front report and say, "Oh, Kano industry top 10 in the world." But I did send you an article yesterday where
yes,
Vogue
yes,
Vogue was covering the leather industry, and it's really,
yes,
you can't talk about the leather industry in Africa without even mentioning Kano or Nigeria.
yes,
You can't,
yes.
because Nigeria really
Beautiful.
is the leather industry in Africa,
That was
right?
a beautiful article, actually.
You saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so those are the types of stories that needs to come out, that we need to tell the world, because that is actually how you attract investors. Because investors are they're seeking investment opportunities. And I tell people, if you go to investors and say, "Oh, I need investor," they're going to run away from you. Why? It's just like people saying, "I need money. I'm begging for money." But investors, if you approach them and say, "Okay, we have an investment opportunity in Kano or in Lagos or in Benue that we want to present to you. Can we set up an appointment?" They're like, "Wow, let's talk." Because investors are always seeking investment opportunities that gives them ROI.
true,
So everything that we do, and which is part of why I now train government officials on the continent, is they need to prioritize investment promotion. They need to prioritize export promotion. They need to be clear what it is that they need, right? what it is that they want and what it is that they have to offer regional and global markets. Because one of the things we do as Nigerians, we have this Nigerian pride. And this is what that pride is. We are the giants of Africa. They should
Oh
know.
no, no more giants. Oh.
No.
Everybody has dwarfed. Oh.
Ah,
No more giants.
Nigerians. No. We let us still be dreaming. Please let us dream.
Eh, no, dreams are good. Oh. Dreams are good, and I think, uh, maybe we as dwarfs, it's good
No.
to dream as giants. To dream, we're giants. Hey, we're dreaming. Oh.
Let us dream
Everybody
now.
has become dwarfs. Hey, the cloud is becoming smaller for us. We're like,
Oh,
what's happening?
yeah, here's the beautiful thing though. I think we all need to always remember, and this is the biggest lesson, is that the real value, the real asset of Nigeria is not the land, it's the people.
Yeah,
That's really the great assets that we haven't invested enough in and we're not tapping into. And I tell you, when we start connecting and doing meaningful work together, the sky is the limit,
yeah,
right?
it is.
It's not the oil, which we do. I mean, it's not the gold. We have that. We have Nigeria has a lot of natural resources, and that we've not even tapped. you know,
Coin.